Mean Girls is perfectly cast, and it's hard to imagine what the movie would look like without Lindsay Lohan as the main character, Cady Heron, but Lohan originally was interested in the role of Regina George. Lohan was already a major teen star in 2004, having gained popularity from The Parent Trap in 1998 as well as Freaky Friday and Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. Cady is the POV lead of Mean Girls, but Regina is the leader of the Plastics, and a teenage Lohan felt Regina would be a more glamorous role to play. Luckily, Lohan was convinced to play Cady, but then the casting team had to find someone to play Regina who could hold her own against Lohan's star power. Many of the Mean Girls cast actually auditioned for characters other than the one they ultimately played, and Lohan's life changed dramatically after Mean Girls. Mean Girls could have been an entirely different movie if any one piece of casting landed differently, with Lohan's sliding doors moment being the ultimate example. Lindsay Lohan wanted to play Regina George in Mean Girls. Lindsay Lohan thought Regina George would be a more enjoyable role. Regina George was the role Lohan wanted to play after reading the script for Mean Girls. Lohan felt she had played the role of a normal, underdog teenager in Freaky Friday and Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, so Lohan wanted to play Regina and go against type to be the glamorous, popular girl with the cool car and chic wardrobe. After she reached a new level of success following Freaky Friday, the casting team did not want to alienate Lindsay Lohan's audience by having her play an outright villain, so she switched to playing the lead character and audience surrogate, Cady. Once Lindsay was attached to play Cady, the Mean Girls casting team had to find an actress who could play a Regina who would dominate the screen. Rachel McAdams originally auditioned to play Cady, but director Mark Waters felt she was too old to play the lead. Lohan was 17 and McAdams was 26. However, her age worked to McAdams' advantage when she read for Regina against Lohan, as the younger actress was slightly intimidated by the age gap. The dynamic worked well for Regina and Cady. How Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams casting impacted Mean Girls. The dynamic between Cady Heron and Regina George is the core of Mean Girls. Regina George and Cady in Mean Girls' Christmas scene. While Cady is the lead of Mean Girls, Regina George is the titular mean girl, and McAdams' take on Regina was instantly iconic. Tina Fey liked the kind and polite facade McAdams brought to a cold, calculating character. Regina is manipulative, and McAdams gives Regina a layered performance where her actions can be interpreted in different ways. While not everyone agrees Regina is the true villain of Mean Girls, McAdams was an indispensable part of the character's complexity. When Cady meets Regina, Regina compliments a bracelet Cady is wearing. Once they are friends, Regina pulls a similar stunt where she compliments a girl's skirt only to turn around and call the skirt fugly, leading Cady to recontextualize every interaction since they met. However, McAdams' magnetic portrayal of Regina helps audiences understand why Cady is drawn into her orbit, even though Regina is pure evil. Without her performance, this nuance wouldn't have been possible. Lohan wanted to play the popular girl, and Cady gave her the chance to play the homeschooled jungle freak as well as the queen of the Plastics. She plays naive and sheltered excellently, and her transition into a mean girl is equally believable. Mean Girls hinges on even Cady not realizing when she crosses the line from pretending to be a mean girl to actually becoming one. Lohan nails the subtle transition of Cady in Mean Girls and even elevates the voiceover beyond mere exposition. Lohan could have nailed the role of Regina George, but Mean Girls as a movie would feel unbalanced with McAdams as the apex predator. Because she was the big star of the movie and known for playing likable leads, casting Lohan as the villain might have made Regina George too sympathetic. Regina seems like the splashier role, but it's hard to picture Mean Girls without Lohan bringing such charm to the POV character of Cady. How Mean Girls' other casting choices came to be. Amanda Seyfried also auditioned for a different role. When a movie is cast as perfectly as Mean Girls, the actors seem destined for the roles, but the Mean Girls casting team explored a few different avenues for characters or actors. There were a lot of interesting behind-the-scene facts in the production of Mean Girls, but it's difficult to imagine any more impactful than the movie's casting dramas and dilemmas. Amanda Seyfried originally auditioned for Regina, though she ultimately played Karen Smith. Director Mark Waters said Seyfried brought a spacey, ethereal energy to Regina that was different from McAdams' take. Lizzie Kaplan was considered too conventionally beautiful to play outcast Janice Ian, but her audition blew away the competition. Jonathan Bennett won the role of heartthrob Aaron Samuels because he reminded Tina Fey of Jimmy Fallon. Amy Poehler was cast as Mrs. George, Regina's mother, despite being only 7 years older than Rachel McAdams. Mean Girls is endlessly quotable and filled with iconic performances. Imagining Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan as Regina George and Rachel McAdams as Cady Heron is an interesting thought experiment, but the movie's enduring legacy and contemporary success prove that the right actors ended up in the right roles.